Road. Welcome to Countdown to Infinity, a Marvel's Avengers podcast. We talk all things Marvel Cinematic Universe, the movies and TV. And boy, oh boy, I'm really excited to talk about episode 7 of Agatha All Along, Death's Hand in Mine. It's the third to last episode, but in some ways the
most beautiful.
The penultimate one, because 2 episodes are coming out at once next week. Yeah. So this is kind of our last taste. And
that too.
And it is one of the best episodes of the series so far. And I think it actually might be one of the best that the MCU has had on TV. Oh,
check yourself.
I know. Got to think about it. My name's Emmanuel.
My name is Sophia.
And we're about to get really sad.
Yeah. To talk about death.
Man. Well, yeah. This episode has everything. It's got
death. And death.
Okay. It's got that. Well, literally and physically. It's got some great imagery of witchery. I'm talking about Maleficent and the Good Witch and the Evil Witch.
Yeah.
And it's got some
time travel.
It's got some time travel. It's got some great performances from Patti LuPone.
Gosh, yeah.
Who plays Ilya, and some really important questions that we're left with right before the ending of the whole series. Oh.
A lot. It's got a lot. Big reveal.
Well, this episode, we think that everyone or Jen and Ilya had died. We thought that after Lilia in the first or in the last couple episodes, we thought they were gone.
Yes. Well, we weren't sure.
But we find them in a tunnel underneath the Witch's Road, right at the same time as Agatha and the teen.
Yes.
Or I guess we can call him by his real name, right?
Billy.
Agatha and Billy are in a trial that is surrounding tarot cards and swords falling onto them. And then we get into this great interplay where we actually get into Lilia's, you said it earlier, time travel or conscious travel. And we kind of experience it from her point of view. So we're bouncing around not just the other episodes where we saw her kind of dip out of herself for a little bit, but also her past in Sicily.
Yes.
In a really cool and I'd say really interesting way to kind of interject between all those moments.
It reminded me of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, huge. Oh, the Sicily part? Or yeah. And it, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Looper. No, I'm trying to think of a better one. Hold on, here's a better one. What's that Christopher Nolan movie again?
It's Looper. Oh, no. Not Tenet.
Inception?
Inception,
yeah,
yes.
It's like Inception. But, I just sounded so annoying. This episode was like Inception, man.
Wow.
But it all basically is wrapped up in this beautiful way because her traveling ends.
Yes.
Does it?
Yeah.
And it just goes into this beautiful loop, kind of finale Futurama mode, where she kind of relives all of her consciousness. And we also get this amazing reveal with Rio, Agatha's lover, who is the personification of death. And we kind of saw some of that coming, but it's not just super confirmed, but now everyone else knows as they go on their merry way. But Sophia, and also maybe the Salem 7 are gone.
I think because of Lilia.
Yeah, which is kind of wild to think about. That's, just they're done. She sacrificed herself and kind of staves off the biggest danger. But Sophia, what did you think of this episode?
I think we should have warned people before we summed up the ep. Spoiler alert, but it's fine. If you're watching it, then you're watching it with us. Whoa. I knew emotion was missing from the series, kind of, sort of, because we're getting into everybody's past. We kind of talked about how we were getting a little more tied to Agatha and her personal experiences came out, right? Or previous personal experiences. And so that was kind of tugging at our heartstrings a little bit. But man, oh man, did this episode just fully push the nail into the coffin, so to speak. Lilia is so beautiful and such a fantastic witch. And I think we talked, one of our earlier eps, we thought that her trial was going to be like the most intense, right? Because of some of the, I guess, foreshadowing that we saw beforehand with like, you know, her. There was like a woman in a gown who now we know is was her mentor. And we kind of saw glimpses here and there of like what she is going through mentally all the time. But to put it all together in such a beautiful way.
Yeah.
And literally tying all of the storylines together.
Which is really hard to do.
Truly, yeah.
I think we were watching another behind the scenes of another show, The Diplomat. Do you remember that? And the writers be looking at the monitor and she's
set.
like, ooh, I got to write that note so I can like throw that in later or reference this later.
Right. Or follow through later with that tiny crumb. Yeah.
And you know, that was the other MCU series we were both super impressed with because of the writing was WandaVision.
WandaVision, yes.
And I'm kind of like really impressed again with how great it is to have people who kind of understand the story in this way, because like temporally to go back to all those moments.
Yes.
And
piece them together like a puzzle.
And if you were worried that you needed to have written notes back then to remember, it kind of doesn't matter because they
full on go back.
They full on go back because as the consciences are completing all of, you know, their sentences, each word is in these different moments. But it is like really, really well done. And that's hard to do. I will say sometimes, especially with the MCU, there are things they never reference again or things they expect you to remember. And you're like, oh, I think I kind of do.
Yeah.
You know? But here it's really, really well done.
Yeah. All questions that we had about her basically answered because once she explains them, but also we see we see what she sees. So it just all becomes more clear. And the way that she accepts her fate, because she understands that fate is just going to happen. Like death is just going to happen. That's the one thing that is going to happen no matter what.
You should have spoiler alerted everyone's life.
Sorry.
Oh boy. Some people.
I don't know if everybody knows. But
someone's like, wait,
we're
I'm gonna die.
Not to be kind of a downer, but like we're all gonna die. No. But it was just explained so beautifully, and not as though she was like waiting for death to happen, but she was just kind of wondering when it was going to happen because she can see so much. But I think it was just so beautiful, so emotional. Especially like how she, as you mentioned, sacrifices herself for the better of the coven. And that's literally the only thing she was missing.
Yeah.
And for it to just bring her so much clarity in her own reading, because that's a trial, right? Like she has to read her own cards. And just beautiful, completely beautiful. It was not what I was expecting her trial to be, but I am so pleasantly surprised with how it turned out. I cried.
Yeah.
I cried a few tears.
And
literally a few, like 3 tears.
For a superhero show like this.
Yeah.
For there to be an actual sort of superhero moment in what Lilia does, because we saw Teen kind of burst out his power. We've obviously seen everyone pass some of their trials, but she does it she feels super heroic because not only is her death to basically save what's left of her coven, but there's this I guess so, but there's this acceptance to it. And it's also, death comes for us all, but I can't even imagine what it's like for someone that lives as long as Lilia.
Yeah, and hundreds of years.
There's a moment where she's really sad when she's talking to her mentor when she was a little girl and being like, I see you guys dying.
Yes, I've seen it. I knew it was going to happen, and there was nothing she could do about it is the thing.
And I'm sure that's happened over and over and over and over again. And then to have this fear of I can't see past a moment or I kind of get the feeling that it's ending. So good. Or
also just to get like a little snippet of the ending and then not know when you're going to jump back into it, because that's really what it is, right? Like the unpredictability of these. It's not like a fit that she has. It's just her own consciousness. Yeah. Just in that moment.
Yeah.
But then so easily having it like pulled back and not realizing where you are again. Does that make sense? Like she gets lost in her own I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's so incredible, and it can be so confusing and overwhelming for her. And this whole time, which is true, like it's 100% true. Like we were like, well, I mean, there is a possibility that she could just be an insane older woman, right? Because she's just losing. For us, our perspective is like, oh, she just doesn't have a grip on reality. But this is her reality. It's all her reality at the same time.
And it's during their trials, everyone gets their power to the max again. Alice does, Jen does.
Oh, we saw Alice.
And and this is kind of Lilia's max power. Her max power is kind of gaining not just this clarity, but her power is basically living all over again. And or whatever you want to call it, which is kind of wild. And they also explain how because she's getting her power back gradually.
Yes.
And that's kind of why she's having these outbursts after, a very long time of not having any of these moments where she's kind of traveling through her consciousness. She's getting her power back. So she's getting it all at once.
All at once.
Jack Schaefer, the creator of the show, said that when they realized that Lilia was going to be a fortune teller, that they got really excited because they were like, oh, shoot, we can do a non-linear episode.
Yes.
And we could sprinkle the breadcrumbs everywhere. And they were like, oh, yeah, we get to cook. We get to write. And they did it.
Literally, yeah.
And it's super, super cool. She also clarified that the Salem 7 are gone. That's it. This is it. Because Lilia puts the tower in reverse. She backs that tower up.
Her last act, yeah.
And destroys the Salem 7, who enter in a final creepy way. They just walk so weird, and
they walk crazy. The animals,
look wild.
It looks so cool.
But they're gone.
Yeah,
Gonzo. And then she also talks about how fun it is to introduce death.
Rio.
Yeah, and that's really cool. They're very important in the comic books, but going to be very different, I think, to what those were, because Thanos was in love with Death at one point, or Lady Death, and I don't think we're going to get any of that. That would be kind of insane to bring him back. But she is not only really important, but someone who, technically could be around everywhere at all time. Death, like you said, comes for us all, and Aubrey Plaza is Death. How are you excited about that?
I mean, she's busy, right? Like we know she's everywhere also. And I mean, thank you, internet, right? Like we kind of got that on one of the earlier episodes, like people just kind of put the pieces together, which is really cool. But I mean, I just don't, I'm nervous about where she goes from here. Like, because she's Death. I mean, I guess she was with Catherine Hahn, or she was with Agatha for a really long time, like centuries. So like, it's not anything to be afraid of or nervous about. But if Billy is looking for Tommy, I don't want Death to find Tommy first. You know what I mean? Because like was Billy supposed to die? Is that why Death is here? Like, is she meant to come for... Because, like, technically Billy cheated Death, right? Because he entered somebody else's body. So he is still technically alive because he has William's old body. And he's just a soul. But is that what Death is about? I don't know.
It's fun to think about all of the ways that Agatha, I guess, has interacted with her at one point. They've got a relationship. She lets her go. There's history there.
Lots and lots of history.
But it seems like she's also
There's
pretty
sexual
cheeky.
tension.
Yeah. And so I don't know. There's more to that, I think, later on. And I think it's also really crazy to think that these witches are always bargaining with each other and sort of betraying each other. And can you do that with Death? I think technically you can. So you can cheat Death, or you can say, oh, if you don't
trade.
Come for me, I'll do this for you. So I'm sure there's some of that happening with Agatha,
and that
too.
like never goes wrong.
No. The devil went down to Georgia.
Did Death spare her child, and her child just happens to be out there somewhere?
That would be crazy too. Yeah. Or is I don't know. He says, she says early that she knows that it's not her son or whatever. Remember?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, does that mean the son's out there somewhere?
That's crazy.
I mean,
Also
you can go anywhere with it.
Yeah, and not to like jump too far ahead, but Death can be in like Spider-Man if she wanted to. Just pop up and Peter's like, "Who are you?" And Aubrey Plaza's like, "I'm coming for you. Or, I'm going to kill you."
Not Tom Holland.
I know. I also like the fact that Death is literally chasing them because that's really crazy. Do you think that? Look, we've got a 2-episode finale coming up.
Yes.
This is a miniseries. No one has signed on. I mean, we would love for there to be seasons and seasons and seasons of this, but from all accounts, it seems like they're saying this is it. Like they're not doing this again.
Right.
Who do you think survives? I guess. Like what happens?
I don't know. I mean, I'm still on the fence about Billy, because there's just a lot that he wants to do, but also he doesn't. I feel like he's not as comfortable being in William's body. Like it's not like he chose to be there. So I think I could see him like sacrificing himself for for Agatha.
Yeah.
Same person, but Agatha. But I truly could see it also reverse the opposite way. Like I could see Agatha having a heart maybe at the end of this. Like it was like all of this happened for a reason, you know, pulling a Lilia. And
I could see that too. I feel that because everyone at their trial, except for Agatha, have had to basically save someone's life. All of them.
Yes.
Alice did. I don't know if
Jen
Sharon
tried to.
Did Sharon do it? The neighbor? I don't know.
Well, no,
isn't
that the one that Jen tried to save her, but she couldn't?
Yeah, but I'm saying like, did the neighbor try to save someone's life too?
Well, she's not a real witch, right?
That's true,
she didn't have a trial.
Well, Agatha hasn't done that. And I think that's going to be something to keep an eye on.
Agatha did the opposite. She killed Alice.
Yeah. But almost everyone else has basically had this moment where they sacrificed or, did something for the coven.
Yeah.
And Agatha hasn't. But are you invested in her, though? Like making that shift if she did?
I don't know. I mean, now, I guess I could be.
Yeah.
Just because if they pull another story like Lilia's, like, truly, I was not expecting to get this emotional about it, about her dying and all the death that is surrounding the coven. But like, you feel for them, including Agatha, because technically, like, they're all misfits that just found each other.
Yeah.
None of them had a coven, and based on Lilia's mentor, like you need one as a witch. There is no witch that is just walking around free spirited, like, nah, I'm just gonna do me.
Your coven.
Unless you're Death, like Rio. That's different because, you got things to do, people to get. But I think the core of a witch is their coven. Like, you're supposed to work together, you're supposed to have each other's back, and you are stronger together. So to have so much loss happen throughout this series, I think Agatha is probably going to feel that if the time comes where she does have to have like this ultimate sacrifice moment. But then on the flip side, like, we saw her straight up take Alice's power. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm still tied with Agatha. I don't know.
I'm 50-50 with Agatha.
And she said that she couldn't control it either. I don't know how much of that is true.
Yeah.
Like, in that moment, did she learn? Like, could she reflect back on what she did to Alice and then stop herself from doing it again? I don't know.
And all of the witches have been doing something wrong sometimes, but Agatha is maybe the worst. So maybe it just takes a lot. Maybe it just takes a lot more to get her to quote unquote turn good. Because she starts way farther than everyone else. Speaking of Jen, how do you feel about her? Do you think? I feel like she's almost all the way good already. Well,
I mean, she chose Lilia, right? Like, she chose to go and finish what they started, and despite her crazy, right?
And there's a moment too where she like super empathizes with Lilia because Lily's having these visions and stuff.
But Jen also said from the very beginning, I don't trust Agatha. Like, she does not fuck with Agatha.
Yeah.
So
smart.
She probably empathizes with Lilia for the same reason. Like, it's more like pity. Like, oh, I'm so sorry that she's like this, and I'm so sorry that she can't control.
Lily's got a nice vibe to her too. She's not, like,
and she's a very trusting witch. Like, because she's so honest, because she was very transparent with Jen, like, I'm going to tell you this because I'm going to forget. I'm going to do, like, this is what's happening in my brain at all times, blah, blah. And also Jen gets to see that everything Lilia mentioned, like the bookcase when they were lost, she sees that, like, oh, that's what she was talking about. And I think that she can see Lilia's, like, genuine heart, when they have when they had their conversations being lost in the tunnels, but you don't get that with Agatha. Or if you do, you question it. Like the teen, like he accidentally, I don't know if he actually did or not, but you kind of trusted her at the beginning, right? And then now he even says it, I think, right? Like he's not sure if she was on the road before this. Like she could totally be lying about that this entire time, and we just fell for it.
She's so impatient. She's so brash. She's so, I also feel like I feel like she's on the road not just to get her power, but there's another reason too. And I think it could be something maybe altruistic or good. But she's not letting it on. I don't know, because I get that she wants power, but I feel like there's something else she wants.
The costume that she has on is Elphaba. So I don't know if that's symbolism for something.
Speaking, I mean, we talk about Glinda and Maleficent, the Good Witch, and all of that stuff. But so we're speaking about how witches look.
How many more witch references are left? Because that's going to determine what the next trial is going to look like, or
if this next episode they're going to be at Hogwarts dressed up as,
like how how deep are we going, y'all?
But I was going to ask you how you think. Or what you think of the way that Death looks. Aubrey Plaza, we get a glimpse of her.
Oof, yeah.
She's kind of Salem 7ish. She's got some of that Dia de los Muertos, face mask, but she's holding I think there's a knife in one hand, but she looks like the tarot card.
Yes.
Well, I wonder if that's her like true form or something.
I mean, maybe because she can probably transform into a bunch of things, right? Like if you're Death, like you have to be able to shift a bit. But that's very Salem 7, because they're also animals, and they're these crazy things that just like hover, not even walk. But it's, I don't know. I think Rio was really cool. The reveal was like, whoa, I can't believe it. But also like I kind of saw it coming. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's, I don't know I truly don't know what's going to happen in the next phase of Rio that we discover. Does Rio get a trial?
Technically she
should, right? Because they also,
that would be really interesting.
They had
Death's trial.
They had her come to the coven. They called her, and she's the Green Witch, right? Like she's the one.
I think she's gonna be. I think there's whatever that bargain is with Agatha or whatever. We're gonna get a glimpse of all of that at some point, and it would make sense in maybe one of Rio's trials or in Rio's trial to see that. But I don't know. I still have a lot of questions about what's going on there between them.
A deal had to have been made.
I think so. She's cheated Death a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure also she has fed. There's a thing where she's talking about wanting souls, and Agatha kills a lot of people, some maybe witches sometimes too.
Yes.
So maybe she's good for business for Rio, but also she may be the soul that the Rio really wants, and it sounds like that.
Can you imagine that this whole time Agatha was just like meh about it because she knew that Rio was Death, and she was like, "Oh man, you're here again." Yeah. So here are these people. Here's my coven.
Agatha. Oh, and like giving her.
Yeah, like that's the deal. Yeah. Like I get to keep all the power. I get to have, whatever I need to survive. Yeah. And then I'll just keep giving you bodies because like she literally has a body count.
That's totally true, and it would make sense because of the first Witch's Road supposedly that she had. Survived or was the only survivor. But if there
was there only one or two? There was two.
There were two.
So Death, Rio, and Agatha.
Unless there's another. I don't know. Does Rio count?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah. But that. I think that would make some sort of sense because she does
at the beginning
sabotage a lot of the. I mean, almost all of them she trials, sabotages. Yeah. Agatha. So it would be, it would make even in this one, she's like pushing down all the tarot cards all at once. And
At the beginning.
that's something Death would want. But we kind of talked about it as a theory, but it also explains all the mystery. If you really were like, oh, Aubrey Plaza just kind of disappeared or something, you would kind of already know something was wrong, you know?
Yeah.
And this is what's wrong with her. She's Death.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? I guess you kind of just said everything, but what are you looking forward to in the next? Well, we're going to talk about the 2 episodes together, even though they're 2 episodes. So
Yes.
I guess we could say in the finale of Agatha All Along.
Well, Jen goes with Billy and Agatha. So Jen is technically back.
The last 3.
Yes. But Jen already had her trial. Agatha already had her trial. So it's going to be either Billy's trial, because now we know that he qualifies, right? Like he has powers. He's technically a witch, or wizard, whichever way you want to. A witch. But does Rio get one? If there's 2 episodes, does that mean there's 2 trials? So that would be technically Rio and the teen, Billy.
The teen hasn't had a trial?
No.
Well,
What would it have been?
I guess I don't know. He had an episode, but that wasn't a trial.
That was just an explanation of who he is.
Yeah.
Because we saw his power. But because he used his power, like, does that mean... Because he used his power on the road, does that mean he gets a trial?
Yeah.
I
don't really want to get crazy with cameo talk because that's kind of doesn't, whatever. But that would be the... That
Right?
would
Like,
be
what would
Cameo
his trial
City.
look like?
That would be Vision and Wanda, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I would love to see Wanda.
Yeah.
I mentioned that in one of our earlier episodes. I would love to see Elizabeth.
I know.
Please bring
Yeah.
her back to me.
They talk about her in this episode. He asked if she saw the body or Agatha saw the body.
Yeah.
So, maybe she's back. I don't know.
Man, when Agatha said that, I was like, shut up. And then, okay.
Well, so her answer was yes, no, maybe, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but you can say that about anyone in the MCU because Robert Downey Jr.'s back, baby.
That's true.
I don't know.
I mean, you know how many universes we have at the same time going on? Yeah, no.
Sometimes it doesn't even matter. There's
Truly.
many timelines and roads, everywhere.
Yeah.
Man, they have been hitting with the music too.
They have.
The ending of this is
Yes.
Time in a Bottle. Very, very beautiful. Great way to end it.
Emotional, man. Oh my gosh.
And all these episodes have had great music choices.
Oh man. Yeah. What are you looking forward to?
More Witches Road, final trial, I think.
Yeah, what happens at the end? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I really want to know more about Agatha's son. What
Are we
happened to
gonna know
him?
more?
And whether Billy stays in our world, because that's really interesting to me. And also, Jen seems like she may survive, and she may be the one survivor. And then we've got Death now.
Ooh, that would be cool if Jen is the only one this time.
It's just her trial was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And she somehow has
Pushed through.
But I mean, she would make sense to also die in the next one, maybe, because then you just have, Agatha and Billy, the kind of 2 closest to Wanda. But I think it would make more sense for it to be Jen and Billy. Because it seems like those are the 2. I don't know. I feel like they're the ones who are supposed to survive.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm just really excited to see what's next.
Yeah.
There's some witch imagery we haven't talked. Black cats. That we haven't had a whole lot of that, right? Is that witchcraft or no?
I guess. I mean,
That's just spooky.
it's just a spooky season.
We've got flying on brooms. We've got a lot of the.
We got potions
Wizard of
because of
Oz
Jen.
and potions and
Spells?
we've seen spells.
Spell book because of Billy.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's got his spell book back too. Well, we'll be back next week to talk about whatever those last 2 episodes are.
Who was meant to be because Rio was meant to be the green witch, but I don't know what that means. Like just plants?
She's the original Green Witch.
But what does that mean?
I don't know.
Like
The
plants?
OG, the triple OG. You know.
I don't.
Oh, that was really fun too. The Wicked Witch was apparently based on Agatha.
Oh,
She
yeah.
says that, yeah. Let me type in the original.
Was it Agatha? No, it was meant to be, was it Lilia?
Who? Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Because she came as Elphaba, right?
Yeah.
But later on, they talk about it in this episode, and they're like, "Oh well, it was named after somebody else. It wasn't actually meant to be Agatha. It was somebody else, wasn't it?"
What?
Yeah.
I was reading the original Green Witch.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
Good night.
Yeah, the original. She's just the first Green Witch ever. That's it. That's all it means.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the Green Witch, Elphaba.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be Rio.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's who it's based off of, not Agatha.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Agatha just showed up as the Green Witch here.
there's going to be more witch imagery, I'm sure, some we're not even thinking about. Mm-hmm. Gosh, I really want to think of one. I can't.
I don't know what's left.
Stevie Nicks.
Sure.
Just Stevie Nicks.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. You got to have Harry Potter.
That's about it.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh, that's a good
witch.
one.
Get her in here. That's a Disney property, too.
Is there a witch in Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland?
Sure.
No.
There's some imagery of that when she's fallen.
There's a queen. That's a queen.
The evil witch? That's something. Oh, that's Maleficent.
No,
We already
the
got
evil.
her.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, that's
Whatever.
no. Maleficent is different than the evil queen.
The Burger King. They got to have the Burger King.
What are you talking about?
Sandwich.
Bye.
He's got to be in this.
Bye.
Okay, well, we'll be back next week.
Gosh.
Either way.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. Sophia, what do you have to plug?
Just the same old, same old. Thank you. Oh, snakes.
What? That's not witch.
I mean, I don't know.
Hold on, let me type it. Let me Google witch thing.
I'm
Let
done.
me ask ChatGPT about witches.
Thank you so much. Oh, a raven. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to the pod and supporting us. We really appreciate it. And if you want to take that support even further, please check out the other shows on our Patreon through Dolphin Pod or patreon.com/DolphinPod, DelfinPod. And if you want to follow me on any of my socials, you can. Everything is going to be @_simply Sophie, SOFIEE. That's me. Did you find any?
No, Ursula is a witch.
Okay.
So
Technically, yes, she's a
Yeah.
sea witch, and she does have a sister named Morgana.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knew that.
Hocus Pocus, maybe? Is that like too recent for them to do something?
I don't know.
Too much? Hermione Granger pops up here as one of the most famous witches.
Yeah.
And then the Bewitched. That with
okay.
her nose,
Also
she kind of
witch.
moves her nose. And
Yeah. Sabrina, the teenage.
Sabrina.
Come on now. I can't believe I forgot Sabrina.
The
Who
White
else?
Witch.
Who else?
Bewitched
Sabrina.
and Dora.
Dora. The Explorer?
No, and Dora is from Bewitched. I think she's the neighbor.
Oh, and Dora. I was like,
Dora the
what?
Explorer. Let's see. Miss Piggy. She's 100% a witch.
From Brave.
The Blair Witch.
Oh, shit.
That would be
Brave.
insane.
There's a witch in Brave. She's like a cauldron spell cast in witch. Who else?
Some people think Morticia Adams from the Addams Family is a witch.
She's not a witch.
They have her on this list from Teen Vogue. I don't know what to tell you.
She's not a witch.
The girls from Charmed.
Ooh, Charmed is a good one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people from American Horror Story Coven, but I don't think.
I love that. I love that series. That's my favorite season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well,
there's that scary movie Witch.
we're for sure missing huge things, but it's fine. Go listen to all the Dolphin Pod shows if you're in the witchy spirit. Revenge of the Sequel has all horror films this whole month long. And definitely this, if you're listening to this, you still have time to early vote in a bunch of places, and then obviously vote next week if you can't do that. But it took us 15 minutes to do it fully.
We timed it. I started a stopwatch and it was only 15 minutes long. So if we can do it, y'all can do it.
So go out there and vote. It's important that you do it. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.